Relaxing your hair won't make you look more European. Brightening up your photo won't make you look lighter. This profile of a black female police officer is just another example of the self-hate issues within the black community. That's not to say that every black person suffers from self-hate issues, but a lot of them do. And a lot of them usually end up in the police department, unfortunately. The psychology of a black cop is one of self-hate. 9 times out of 10, it is. And, black people suffering from self-hate, they usually want to distinguish themselves from other black people. They usually want to distance themselves from blackness. Back in the day, they would become slave catchers or overseers. They would whoop other slaves quicker than the master would. Now, if you notice how hostile black cops are to black members of the public, you would know that I'm telling the truth, because when they're dealing with white members of the public, they tread pretty lightly. That's not to say that they don't arrest them, that they don't get rough with them, that they don't tase them or they don't shoot them. But, when they do use force against white people, it's usually 100% by the book. You know what I'm saying? There's no dubious or questionable circumstances. There's no overreacting. There's no whole lot of rah-rah tough guy shit going on when they deal with white members of the public. With us, it goes from 0 to 100 real quick. There's no white Tyree Nichols who's getting jumped on by a bunch of black cops. That doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these black cops, they resent black activists, even though if it wasn't for black activism, they wouldn't even have a job. They're complaining about Black Lives Matter and going thin blue line, this, back the badge, this. But if it wasn't for black activism, they wouldn't even be allowed in law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? Because, the Atlanta Police Department, they didn't start hiring black people until the 40s. And that was because of pressure from the NAACP and other black activist organizations. You know what I'm saying? They weren't allowed to arrest or detain white people until the 70s. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the civil rights movement and Dr. King, the Atlanta Police Department would still be mostly white. So the people they resent is responsible for their employment. Now you got this self-hating black female cop, Phyllis White, rolling around with her Herman Munster looking white female partner, hemming up black dudes in handcuffs and shit, all types of unnecessary shit. She's letting the white girl point tasers at a handcuffed black man's genitals. And she's totally okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you're getting tough with a guy in handcuffs who cooperated with you, because if he didn't cooperate with you, there was no way you could get him in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? Pulling out that taser wouldn't be enough if he was determined to resist or hurt you. You know what I'm saying? If he was determined, like, the taser hurts, but it's not going to stop anybody who's really determined. But the only recourse you would have in that situation would be to go for your gun. And female police officers are really just weak people with guns, because they can't really detain nobody without using a gun. They probably can't even detain other women or children because police officers are so out of shape these days. Well, I guess they might have always been. I don't know. But anyway, he cooperated with her, and she did not put her hands on him until he was in handcuffs. She did not push him up against the wall when he wasn't in handcuffs, but she wanted to wait until he got into handcuffs to push him against the wall, like she's so goddamn tough. And there was no reason to even detain him or arrest him, because he wasn't a suspect in the crime. His girlfriend was, and they didn't even conduct an investigation. They didn't do their jobs at all. They took these two to jail for really no reason. There's no evidence that they committed a crime, and the charges were dropped. These people are cowards.